Welcome to the Daily AI News, brought to you by the Day After AI News channel.
Today is Wednesday, February 11th, 2026.
Hey there.
We have a huge stack of updates today, and when you kind of lay them all out, a really clear theme emerges. I'm starting to call it the Great Divergence.
That is exactly the right way to frame it. I mean, usually when we talk about AI trends, everything's sort of moving in the same direction.
Right, a straight lineup.
Exactly. But today, it feels like we have the technology itself just ripping forward at, Mach 10. It's becoming autonomous, agentic.
So fast.
While the human layer, so governments, regulators, even the markets, they're all just slamming on the brakes. It's this incredible tension.
It's a serious tug of war. I mean, on one side, you've got OpenAI launching agents that can do a week's worth of research in 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other, you've got India mandating 3-hour takedowns for deepfakes and the U.S. government trying to, draft engineers into a Department of War.
And somehow, in the middle of all of that, Elon Musk is apparently planning to bypass Earth entirely and build an AI factory on the moon.
We absolutely have to get to the moon factory. But let's start with the tools first, because it feels like we're officially moving past the chatbot era. The big headline today is OpenAI's Deep Research.
This is really significant. It marks the commercial arrival of what you might call System 2 thinking in AI.
Okay, what does that mean, System 1 versus System 2?
Well, for the last few years, we've been using System 1 AI. ChatGPT gives you an answer instantly. It's reflexive.
It's just predicting the next word.
Exactly. Deep Research isn't doing that. It's an agent. You give it a job, not just a prompt.
Right, and the whole user experience reflects that shift.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that instant wall of text. You get a wait time. It could be anywhere from 5 to, 30 minutes.
Which sounds like an eternity in a world where we complain if a web page takes 2 seconds to load. But you have to reframe what that time is. It's not loading time. It's what they call inference time compute. The model is literally browsing hundreds of sources, reading PDFs, and basically thinking through the problem.
If you asked a human to do that, a competitive analysis of the semiconductor supply chain, that's not 30 minutes, that's 3 days of work.
At least. So the AI is trading that instant speed for actual depth. And the performance metrics really seem to back that up.
Yeah, they tested it on something called Humanity's Last Exam, which frankly sounds like a title from a sci-fi horror movie.
It's a terrifying name, but it's a necessary benchmark. These are expert-level questions designed to stump, PhDs. The old model, O1, it scored about 9%.
Yeah.
This new system, which is powered by the O3 model, hit 26.6%. That is a massive, massive leap in reasoning in a very short time.
And what really stood out to me is how they're handling the black box problem.
Right.
Usually an agent just goes off and does its thing and you hope it comes back with something good. But here they added a sidebar where you can actually see it working.
You can watch it, click links, and read documents.
Yeah, you see it formulating ideas.
Yeah.
And it's not just for show, right? It's for collaboration. You can interrupt it.
Which is huge. So if you forgot to specify something, like your example, searching for furniture, and you realize, wait, my ceiling is only 7 feet high.
You can just jump in and say that, and it pivots instantly. It changes the dynamic from command and control to collaborative supervision.
Yeah. And speaking of workflows, it feels like Google is finally getting its act together for developers.
With this pit stop strategy, the AI Studio and anti-gravity, it feels like they're acknowledging the browser just isn't enough for serious work.
Exactly. Google's had this fragmentation problem. You prototype in the cloud, but the real production happens locally. This pit stop idea bridges that.
So you start in AI Studio, the sandbox.
Get your prompts right, and then you just teleport the entire context down to anti-gravity on your local machine.
No more copy-pasting code, losing your history. It's seamless. But this ease of creation brings up a huge philosophical issue.
It does.
If we have OpenAI agents doing the research and Google agents generating the code, what happens to the value of the code itself?
That is the core thesis of a new startup called Entire, founded by Thomas Domke. And you have to remember, Domke is the former CEO of GitHub. He knows code.
He knows code better than almost anyone.
And he just raised $60 million on the premise that, and I quote, code is becoming worthless.
Wow. That's a bold statement from the guy who ran the world's biggest code repository.
Mm-hmm.
But the logic It kind of holds up. If supply goes to infinity, price goes to zero.
Precisely. If an agent can spit out 1,000,000 lines of Python in an afternoon, the scarcity isn't the syntax anymore. The scarcity is trust. Domke's argument is that trust is the new currency.
So you don't need to read every line of code.
You need to know why the agent wrote it. What was the intent? So Entire is building a flight recorder for these agents.
That's a perfect analogy.
It tracks the prompts, the decision trees, the intent behind the software. Because if you have an autonomous agent maintaining your bank's infrastructure and it crashes the system, you don't just want to see the bug.
You need to know the whole logic chain that led to it.
Right. We're moving from handcrafted software to industrialized software, and this is the quality control for the factory floor.
And that transition from handcrafted to industrial, that is exactly what is freaking out governments around the world. This is the other side of our divergence.
Yeah, the tools are getting wilder, and the state is trying to build fences. The U.S. government seems to have realized it can't just regulate this from the outside anymore.
They need to own the talent.
They need to own the talent. We saw reports from Fox Business about Donald Trump's plan to launch a tech force.
And this isn't just about hiring a few IT guys. This sounds more like a specialized draft, a reserve corps for Silicon Valley.
It's a public-private partnership. They want to recruit 1,000 top-tier engineers. But look at where they're going, not just Treasury or Health and Human Services.
But the Department of Defense.
Specifically, the Department of Defense, or as it's being called in some of these briefs, the Department of War. And Palantir is the linchpin here.
It's always been that bridge between the Valley and the Pentagon, but this formalizes it. It's an admission that government legacy systems just can't handle the speed of AI.
Not without a direct injection of private sector DNA. And while the executive branch is recruiting, the legislative branch is trying to claw back control over the data itself.
Right, with Senators Adam Schiff and John Curtis introducing the CLEAR Act.
And the timing on this is so critical. It requires companies to disclose the copyrighted works in their training data before they release a model.
That word before, that's the killer clause.
It is. The whole industry has operated on ask for forgiveness, not permission. Train now, get sued later, settle. The CLEAR Act would just kill that strategy.
But if you think the U.S. is being strict, you have to look at India. They just updated their IT rules for deepfakes, and the timelines are incredibly aggressive.
Aggressive is putting it lightly. India isn't asking. They've instituted a 3-hour deadline. If a deepfake is flagged, the platform Meta, YouTube, X, whoever has 180 minutes to take it down.
3 hours. That's barely enough time for a trust and safety team to even see the ticket, let alone verify a complex forgery.
It's basically a guillotine for content moderation. If they miss that window, they lose their safe harbor protection, meaning the company itself can be sued.
Wow.
And on top of that, they're mandating that any synthetically generated information has to carry a permanent metadata tag, a unique identifier.
So a digital paper trail for every single pixel. It's fascinating to see how different nations are handling this idea of digital sovereignty. Pakistan is taking a totally different route.
Right, they're not just regulating the content, they're trying to nationalize the actual infrastructure.
This is the splinter net we've talked about, but in reality.
It really is. Pakistan's digital authority partnered with Deepfinity to build a Pakistan subnet on the Internet Computer Protocol. They're building a sovereign cloud and a national messenger app.
And the argument is data residency. Keep Pakistani data out of Google or Amazon servers.
It's data residency, but it's also control. I mean, if you own the cloud, you don't have to ask a foreign company to take something down.
You just delete it.
You just delete it. It's the ultimate form of digital borders for a borderless technology.
So you have nations building these walls, and meanwhile, the economic reaction to all this is creating another fascinating split, this market paradox.
This is one of the most under-discussed trends right now. Just look at how Wall Street reacts to AI news versus how the Chinese markets react.
Okay.
In the US, whenever a big player like Google announces a huge breakthrough like Project Genie for video games, the stocks of existing software companies like Roblox or Unity, they just tank.
Is the melting ice cube theory.
Right.
Investors see AI as this deflationary force. If AI can build a game for free, why would you pay for a game engine?
Exactly. AI is seen as a predator eating existing revenue. But in China, the reaction is the complete opposite. ByteDance announced Cdance 2.0, a very similar tool.
And the gaming and media stocks rallied.
They rallied because they view it as infrastructure, a rising tide that lifts all boats. In their view, AI doesn't replace the business. It makes the business 100 times more efficient.
A productivity booster, not a revenue killer.
And that philosophical difference is showing up in the spending numbers. The gap is massive. U.S. big tech is pouring over $500 billion into infrastructure this year.
Chasing the absolute frontier, the smartest, biggest models.
While China is spending a fraction of that, maybe $70 billion, they aren't trying to win the smartest model award. They're optimizing for efficiency and, importantly, application.
And that focus on application over raw power brings us to Sarvam AI in India. This story perfectly illustrates the divergence we're talking about.
It really does. While Silicon Valley is trying to build, a godlike intelligence, Sarvam is trying to solve a very specific, very messy, real-world problem.
Their tagline is brilliant. Global AI is a highway. Sarvam is building the missing roads inside India.
And those roads are paved with OCR, optical character recognition.
Which sounds kind of boring to a tech utopian.
It does, but it's absolutely critical. India runs on paper, often crumpled, handwritten forms in mixed scripts. Hindi, Tamil, English, all on one page. Sarvam's model has hit 84.3% accuracy on reading those documents.
And that beats the giants.
It significantly outperforms Google Gemini on that specific task. And that's the whole point. Silicon Valley is building models to write sonnets.
Sarvam is building models to process a government application in a rural village. Both are AI, but the utility is just worlds apart.
And on the complete opposite end of that spectrum, both philosophically and physically, you have Elon Musk and xAI.
Right. We can't talk about divergence without talking about xAI. The company is in chaos. They've lost exactly half of their 12-person founding team.
50%.
Yeah.
Just this week, co-founders Tony Wu and Jimmy Bao walked out.
That's a massive brain drain. These are the architects of the technology. And yet, in the middle of all this, Musk holds an all-hands meeting and pitches a lunar manufacturing facility.
You can't make this stuff up. The reports say Musk told the remaining staff that xAI needs to build an AI factory on the moon.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate for a second. Is this just Musk being Musk? Or is there some strategic reason to put compute on the moon?
Well, there is a theoretical argument for it. Earth has constraints. We're running out of power for data centers. Heat is a nightmare. And as we just saw, regulators are tightening their grip everywhere.
But on the moon?
On the moon, you've got massive solar potential, the infinite cold of space for cooling, and zero regulators.
It's the ultimate regulatory arbitrage. You launch AI satellites into orbit from there, and they don't technically exist in any single jurisdiction.
It sounds like science fiction, but they are actively hiring for something called world modeling. They're building simulators. If you're going to build a factory in low gravity, you need to simulate it first. It's an attempt to build a sovereign cloud that isn't even on the planet.
So while xAI is looking to the stars to escape its problems, OpenAI is dealing with some very earthly tensions, specifically the tension between safety and profit.
We just saw Ryan Bayermeister, their VP of Product Policy, get fired, and the reporting suggests this was a direct clash over a planned adult mode for ChatGPT.
The erotica feature we've heard rumors about.
Yes, and as OpenAI needs to justify its massive valuation, the pressure to tap into these very lucrative markets just keeps increasing. Adult content is a huge industry.
So Bayermeister flagged safety concerns.
She reportedly flagged major safety concerns about generating erotica, and she was removed. It sends a pretty clear signal. When safety clashes with scale, scale is winning right now.
That is a sobering thought. The guardrails are coming off in the pursuit of growth. Okay, let's hit a few more developments in a rapid-fire round because the innovation is not slowing down. First up, flapping airplanes.
This is a Sequoia-backed lab, raised $180 million. Their whole thesis is that the human brain is the floor, not the ceiling for efficiency.
So they want to make models 1,000 times more data efficient.
If they pull that off, we might not need those moon bases after all.
And speaking of efficiency, Amazon is trying to solve the copyright mess with the checkbook.
Yeah, rumors of a new marketplace. Instead of suing publishers, you just let them sell their content directly to AI companies for training data. It commercializes the whole process.
It's the logical conclusion to the copyright wars. Then there's Vega, raising $120 million for cybersecurity.
This is basically fixing a problem that AI created. We have way too much data, too many alerts. Vega uses AI to filter the noise so human security teams don't burn out.
It's AI fighting AI fatigue.
Exactly.
And finally, my favorite story of the day, Hauler Hero.
The garbage truck AI.
It's just fantastic. They have 3 specific agents. Hero Vision spots overflowing bins. Hero Chat handles the angry customer calls.
And Hero Route optimizes the driving.
It just brings it all home. We have agents writing code, agents doing research, and now agents routing garbage trucks. The tech is seeping into every single layer of the economy.
So to bring it all back to your theme, this divergence, you have agents becoming incredibly autonomous doing all this work.
Right. Researching, coding, routing.
And at the same time, you have humans frantically trying to build boxes around them. Legal boxes, sovereign clouds, ethical guidelines.
The tension is that the tech wants to be global and frictionless. It wants to flow. But the human instinct is territorial.
We're drawing borders on the internet just as the AI is learning to completely ignore them.
So it really begs the question, if these agents are doing the actual work, where does the human check even happen anymore? Is it in the prompt like the entire startup thinks? Is it in the law like India's 3-hour rule?
Or is it in the data source itself, like that Amazon marketplace idea? We haven't really decided where the human in the loop is supposed to sit in this new world.
I'll leave you with this final thought, and it comes from Elon's lunar ambitions. It's a question of jurisdiction.
Go on.
If Elon Musk is right, and we actually end up with AI factories on the moon to escape Earth's limitations, who governs the intelligence that's created up there? Is it the country that launched it?
Or once it's off-world,
Is it truly a law unto itself?
a superintelligence with no earthly jurisdiction. Now, that is a divergence I don't think any of us are ready for.
Thanks for listening to the Daily AI News. We'll be back tomorrow to see if that gap gets any wider.
See you then.
Before you go, please subscribe to the podcast Prime. And if you enjoyed today's episode, hit like to support us. Thanks for listening and see you next time.